What nuts? It is Monday, October 28th in the United States and Canada, and this is What Chaos presented by Prize Picks. Download that Prize Picks app right now, today. Do it later today. Focus on the show for now. Use code What Chaos and get $50 instantly when you play $5. Prize Picks, run your game. My name is DJ Bean. Spooky ass Pete Blackburn is there. Spooky ass Sean DePaz is there. Hi, boys. How was your pre-Halloween weekend thing? I don't think any of us did any of that.
No.
I did.
You did?
Yeah. I went to
Oh, you're so young.
I went to my friend's house in East Boston, or apartment in East Boston. I'm not that young. My friends, we all left before midnight.
Costume reveal.
Oh, I was a cowboy. I'm a cowboy every year because I don't have to pay for anything.
I like that move.
That's
Respect.
the best.
Yeah. It does vary every year. There's different variations on how I dress as a cowboy, but the one mainstay is a red bandana that I tie around my neck because that's how you know I'm a cowboy.
Cowboy's a good costume. You know, have you been seeing Sam Elliott's been doing a lot of commercials, and every time I see him, whoever I'm watching the TV with, I'm like, hey, you know that he got really mad that Jane Campion movie had a gay cowboy?
You know he's a cowboy, but he's not gay. Don't you dare suggest that he's gay.
But I think the reason Sam Elliott, so if you don't know this, there was a movie called Power of the Dog that was not very good, but it involved a gay cowboy, which honestly was the only interesting part of that movie.
There were gay cowboys at my party I was at. So a couple of women dressed up as Brokeback Mountain.
There you go.
Well, also, do you know why? I think that Sam Elliott was so mad about there being a gay cowboy in a movie because I feel like when people are homophobic, when they get mad, it's because they realize things that they love
Can be
are
gay.
maybe like inherently a little gay or can be gay. Like the idea of somebody being like, I love cowboys so much, then seeing that some of them are gay and like being fucking shocked. It's like his word. It was like when people were mad that the LeFou character in the live action Beauty and the Beast was gay. And it was like,
brother, he's
the
always
cartoon
been.
one was gay.
Yeah, the cartoon one was definitely gay too.
It's a good way to kick off this show. That's the vibe of our show. Today on this program, we got weekend behavior. We got the Mid-Atlantic Conference. What does that mean, Sean?
You got some MAC-tion. Everyone in the Atlantic Conference, a.k.a. division, is mid.
Yeah, we've changed the name to division.
If the NFL can have 2 conferences, the NHL can have 4.
Yes.
Good point.
Brad Marchand back to scoring goals and back with the Boston Bruins forever?
Forever, I guess.
Maybe. We'll discuss. Have the Penguins found the guy? I think they might have. I'm a Joel Blomqvist guy. We'll discuss. And the Sharks bite. Is that cool or funny? I think it is. But let's kick it off with some weekend behavior. As it was Halloween weekend, the Los Angeles Kings busted out their Halloween costume. And why is this relevant to us? It's because Pete asked Jordan Spence just days ago, so what's the Halloween costume with you and Quentin Byfield? And he was like, don't have anything planned yet. You know why?
Because he wasn't involved.
Because Quentin Byfield was busy going behind his back, fucking him over, and making a costume that did not involve Jordan Spence. Sean, show it. It's an awesome costume. It's an NWA costume. It's with Caleb Jones and Andre Lee and Brant Clark and Akil Thomas. And it's a great costume.
It's a great costume.
This is the future liberals wanted. A hockey team with enough black men to do an NWA costume.
And a white guy who gets to play like their
Jerry Hiller.
Yeah, Jerry Hiller, who's like the worst.
It rocks.
So like shout out I don't know who that is. Who's the guy playing Jerry Hiller? Do you know?
A white guy.
It's a white guy, yeah. Well, there's a lot of those on the Kings too. But no, like this is a great costume, especially because it ties to LA. Like it's so good, but you gotta have Jordan Spence involved. People gotta be so disappointed that Jordan Spence and Quentin Byfield did not do another couple's costume. And by people, I mean me.
I forget what did I put in my notes? I put gotta be careful, but like Like, can Jordan Spence be mad?
I don't think he really gets. He can't.
Yeah, I feel like he can't be mad.
I mean, he can be mad that they thought of a costume idea without him, but he can't be mad. Like, if they were for some reason dead set on doing NWA, he can't be mad that he wasn't involved.
Exactly.
In that
He can be hurt that he wasn't involved in the costume, but he can't be hurt that he wasn't involved in that costume. And Jordan Spence is a good enough teammate and friend that I am positive he supported the hell out of his boys doing. I agree with you, Sean. That's the future. That's the future we want.
Yeah. I did comment on Quentin Byfield's Instagram, and I said, great costume, but a notable lack of Jordan Spence.
Yeah. Stacey said Brant Clark.
Just sending that message. Yeah, Brant Clark was Jerry Heller. So congratulations to Brant Clark for getting assigned to be like the worst dude out of their Halloween
I will
costumes.
say, I don't think anyone would have said if Jordan was that guy.
Yes, agreed.
Like, he could have been the non-black character.
Yes, I'm trying to think. Well, I think that like part of the NWA story is like famously like
taken advantage by
a big
a white guy.
part of
fair
their
enough.
identity was their blackness. Famously, they had a name that suggested a lot of pride in that.
What was it?
Their foil,
Say it, DJ.
or
Say it,
the
DJ.
guy that
Say
like
it. What do you
ripped
mean?
them apart, Jerry.
Okay, yeah.
The guy that ripped them apart being a white man, I think, is pretty.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I think that has to be canon.
like if
It's not so like
fair.
I was watching.
it would also like raise questions if you had access to a bunch of white dudes and you didn't pick any of them for Jerry Heller.
Yeah,
Also true. Yeah.
It'd
I
be like,
was-
what Jordan Spence? What'd you say? Fuck me for?
Yeah.
I was watching 1989's Batman, and they showed Harvey Dent played by Billy D. Williams, and I was like, Tim Burton, a little more progressive in 1989 than Christopher Nolan was in whatever year.
This is also just a little quick sidebar. This is why I hate being friends with you sometimes. I've been saying for weeks, please watch The Penguin, because The Penguin is the best show on TV. I've been saying, please watch The Penguin so we can talk about The Penguin. What do you do instead? You go watch 1989's Batman.
I'm positive 1989's, but no, like if I'm in a situation where it's like, hey, like gotta watch a movie or something, I can go to a Batman thing and say, okay, that's just 2 hours. What I'm gonna do is we're taking a trip soon. I'm gonna hammer The Penguin on that trip, and I promise, because I really do want to watch it. I love everybody involved with it. I saw famously that John Turturro did not do it because he said there was violence towards women in the show. The only two things I've heard about this show is John Turturro won't do it because there's too much violence against women, and that it is your favorite show you've ever seen in your life.
Excuse me.
You want to go there?
Excuse me. First of all, the John Turturro thing is bullshit because he did the movie in which he also commits violence against women.
But he said that this one has too much violence against women.
There is not noticeably more violence against women in the show than there was in the movie.
Maybe you don't notice, Pete.
Okay.
So that's the King's Halloween costume. We'll keep an eye on what Jordan Spence is. I quickly do want to hit, there was a Matthew Tkachuk, Semyon Varlamov clip that kind of broke brains. On Saturday, Matthew Tkachuk scored 2 goals against the Islanders because he's an awesome player. And after the game, the Panthers tweeted out a clip of him really buzzing around the net, pissing off Semyon Varlamov, making him lose his stick, and then scoring a goal at the end. And people were so offended that the Panthers basically bragged that he did this. To which I say, what, are you stupid? Of course the Panthers are going to be excited about this. That's kind of his whole thing.
Yeah, that's their whole thing as a team.
I like that.
It's their whole thing. And on one hand, I get it because it does seem like, when we talked about this last week, it does seem like the NHL is really cracking down on activity in the blue paint. Like if you're anywhere near the blue paint and you're fucking with the goalie and a goal gets scored, it's probably coming back. And the NHL is really cracking down on that. But meanwhile, Matthew Tkachuk gets to frolic in the blue paint and like spear the goalie in the dick, give him an elbow to the chin.
Well, you always get to spear the goalie in the dick.
Skate circles around the net and like basically directly cause a goal. And it's still a good goal because it's the Panthers, which I get why people would be upset about that. But as a guy who like loves that shit, I don't want to see it taken away. I want to see Matthew Tkachuk be able to fuck with the goalie all day long.
I also watched enough of the last postseason. It wasn't a problem in the Cup final, so I'm not biased here. But like I watched enough of the second round to be like, Panthers get away with this, other teams don't. And I always get annoyed because people say that stuff about Boston, just like when they were a more physical team. People be like, the Bruins get away with everything, and our team doesn't. It's like, no, they just throw more hits, and not every hit is illegal. You just don't know that because your team doesn't throw as many hits. But like Nathan Horton checking somebody is an okay thing. No one's breaking the law here. But I watch the Panthers, and I'm like, the goaltender interference thing is way out of whack in favor of the Panthers.
Is it out of whack, or did they just know how to do it better than everybody else?
Maybe
and get
it's
away
that.
with it.
They're going to get theirs later in this show.
I think that there is an element of the Panthers. Yes, the Panthers, I think, are a pretty dirty, cheap team. In parentheses, endearing a lot of ways because they find ways to be sneaky and get away with it. And if you can do that, that's the game within the game. And like, listen, they win a lot. And if I'm rooting for that team, I say keep doing that shit.
Shout out the chat. It's making me laugh a lot. Everybody make sure you're subscribed. Of course you are. We'll give a little more details, but Wednesday we are finally doing the jersey stream.
Yep.
We will reveal the jerseys that we get, and we will give one to you. We'll discuss that just a little later in the show. Leon Draisaitl scored twice, including the OT winner on his 29th birthday, and it was the best for multiple reasons. It's his birthday. We love Leon Draisaitl. Handsome birthday boy. Oilers kind of back on track-ish. But even though we couldn't watch because of the fucking NHL network, sorry to the commenters that get mad when we say the F word, we couldn't watch it because of the freaking NHL network. Gene and the boys, of course, made the whole broadcast about birthday stuff and German stuff. Sean, put either of the clips that we have.
Zum Guberstag will Glück, zum Guberstag will Glück, zum Guberstag alles Gute, zum Guberstag will Glück. There you go, Leon. I hope Leon doesn't hear that, but there he is.
I do have to note Gene's hair. I sent Pete a picture the other day. It was like Gene's hair is maybe the best it's ever been. He looks incredible these days. He's got that post-Dish and What Chaos glow. Everyone knows it. Sean, can I get a German grade on the Gene singing?
Well, I would have been inclined to give it an A, but based on the other clip that we have, Leon doesn't really seem to approve. So,
but here's the thing: two different cases, two different examples of him speaking German. So like that one could be an A.
True.
And then the following one, which you could play that now, could be an A minus.
Yeah, let's look.
Seems like Leon gave it an A minus.
We got you a cupcake for each point. Thank you. Alles gut zum Guberstag.
Yeah, close enough. Pretty good.
Danke.
Yeah, thank you.
My favorite thing about all this Leon German stuff is that, like, of course he's German. That will always kind of like be part of his identity, but he's Canadian. He like played junior in Canada. I think Frank Saravalli wrote something during the postseason that was like, the Oilers are Canada's team because like they're a Canadian team that's actually going far in the playoffs, but also like everything about them is super Canadian. Even their German guy is like the most Canadian German guy in the world. But Gene X Leon, amazing stuff.
100%. And the Oilers dynamic with the media is so funny to me because it seems like there's a few guys that they really fucking love, and then there's a few guys that they really fucking don't. And we won't name names, but I think Leon Draisaitl has suggested who he likes and who he doesn't like in that media. And it's just so funny to see him like that. I mean, that's not extremely chummy, but like him agreeing to do that is Leon Draisaitl being chummy, and then there's the pissy Leon that you get with other people in the media, and it's just very funny to see the juxtaposition.
The best part of that clip, which I think got cut off, was him walking away and just handing the cupcakes to somebody.
Did he really?
Yeah, he was just like, here you go. He just literally immediately on camera handed them to somebody else and walked off in the locker room.
I don't think he would ever do it, but what would we do if it would have to be Leon, but like one of our guys was a little mean to one of our guys? Granted, this is like the people work together, they get snippy with each other. What?
Or like if Leon was mean to Gene?
Yeah, like what if?
It definitely wouldn't be Bob. No chance.
No,
Nobody's
but
mean
that's
to
the thing. Like,
Bob.
I don't think that any of them would. I don't think that Bob wouldn't put himself in a situation to like piss off those guys or whatever. And even so, like Bob doesn't piss you off. If Bob gets a little like gruff with you,
He's probably right.
it's like Gerard Mayo calling the team soft. They were like, yeah, we were soft. So then we went out and we won the next game.
Plus, like, Bob is like an actual hockey guy. He's not like a journalist necessarily, in the sense that, like, I feel like the players respect him more than they would respect like an insert journalist here.
Yeah, like
Yeah, that guy.
yeah.
I agree with that, but no one's ever going to be mean to Gene.
No.
And if they are,
we're coming after you.
no, that reflects very poorly on them. The Oilers do have points in 5 of 6, 4-1-1. They're now 500, just like a lot of teams in the NHL. We'll discuss in a little bit. Leon Draisaitl, who's off to a hell of a start, is on pace for 55 goals and 91 points. And my favorite part about that is he's off to this great start. That would be his worst season in 7 years. If he keeps up this pace, he will have failed his standard by a lot.
That's crazy. That's hilarious, though.
When I think like what's working for the Oilers as they're off to this kind of weird start, like Leon has been awesome, and Arvidsson's starting to work well with him. They got Podkolzin with him. Like Leon is the automatic thing right now, which Leon is pretty much always automatic. But I love that by his standards, it's terrible.
I do like, though. Remember, we've talked about like how Ryan Nugent-Hopkins from year to year was like, I'm going to score a bunch of points. I'm going to hit 100 points. Next year, I'm going to be fantastic defensively. Don't really care as much about the offensive output. Like, what if Leon Draisaitl just showed up and was like, fuck you, Zach Hyman. I'm scoring all the goals this year.
Oh, Zach Hyman, this is a little peek at the Slate Grade. Tonight, Zach Hyman can make it 10 games without a goal.
Crazy.
He at least got a point the other night. He got an assist, but I
don't need Zach Hyman assists in my life. I need Zach Hyman goals back in my life. I think that we've discovered there might be some other Zach Hymans happening in the NHL.
Definitely.
Like Ross Colton is up there.
Copycat league. How many goals do you think Zach Hyman gets? Do you think that Zach Hyman scores 30 goals this year?
Yeah, he'll find a way to score 30.
I don't know.
I mean, 10 games is a significant chunk, but it's not enough to prevent you from scoring 30 when you play with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl in the Oilers.
Correct.
He's running out of time to get started, but I still think he can do it.
He's got 72 games.
Yeah.
But if you were to say how many goals does Zach Hyman score this year, I would have said 40.
Yeah.
And 10 games in,
He's got 0.
Not amazing. We're
I
pulling
feel
for him.
rejuvenated as a Hyman hater. Love your life.
The Rangers have sent Matt Rempe to the AHL and recalled him from the AHL. So that's the most exciting thing that's going on with the Rangers right now.
I mean, things. I wonder how much of that has to do with who was Radko Gudas absolutely destroying. I forget who he was, because he is now deceased. Radko Gudas absolutely blasted somebody at the blue line in one of the like cleanest, most impressive hits that I've seen in a long time over the weekend. And happened like, who was it?
Sam Carrick.
Sam Carrick, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Duck on duck crime.
Yeah, former teammates.
And like I saw a bunch of people being like, this wouldn't have happened if Matt Rempe was still on the team. And then you get the immediate callback. So maybe they think so too. I can see James Dolan watching that happen over the weekend and be like, where's the tall guy?
Why didn't
and then
somebody
making
kick
one
his
phone
ass?
call and then getting Matt Rempe back in New York.
They did say, though, or Frank said that they sent him down so he could further develop. I love Matt Rempe. Famously was supposed to be on the show. Never even considered that.
Never considered development.
Never considered further development.
I mean,
I was like, he's here because he's tall and he's cute. He's not going to get taller. He's not going to get cuter.
and like if he wanted to further develop, should he done that over the offseason rather than fighting with George Larac?
No, I don't think so. I think that again, I didn't consider him developing. Although we did say at the time when he was fighting with George Larac, like, this isn't what you need to be doing.
Right.
But it's what I would expect him to be doing because that's what he's here for. He's learning hot to go dances. He's doing I saw somebody, by the way, on Saturday wearing it was a bunch of pictures of Miss Piggy, and it said Chaperone. Took a picture of it. Can't believe I didn't send it to you. It's amazing.
It's a good one. I saw someone whose fantasy football team name is HOTTO Debo. I like that one.
All right, little Debo Samuel. Lastly, unless you got more weekend behavior stuff, the 3-6-1 Penguins have sent Tristan Jarry to the AHL on a conditioning loan. Jarry, .836 save percentage in 3 starts. Nedeljkovic and Joel Blomqvist seem to be the tandem. Doesn't this feel very... Is Tristan Jarry getting Jack Campbelled?
Could be.
Right? Doesn't this feel like that?
Yeah, and enjoy whatever other team you're playing on next year, Tristan Jarry.
I will say, like, Tristan Jarry doesn't feel as fundamentally broken as Jack Campbell did when he was sent down last year. Like, Tristan Jarry's been bad for sure, but remember when Jack Campbell was sent down, and I guess maybe we just haven't seen enough of Tristan Jarry in the AHL yet. But remember when Jack Campbell got sent down and he was letting in like
it was really bad,
horrible goals.
It was like sad,
like nobody has ever played the position before kind of goals. So like it doesn't have that as much to it. But Tristan Jarry, like it's not a conditioning loan when you're getting run that much.
Plus, like
I don't think you need conditioning.
Yeah, I think he only has 3 starts this season, which I mean they're only like 8 or 9 games into the season, so that's you're playing like a backup.
Maybe I'm misremembering the circumstances around Jack Campbell, but like it wasn't like the Oilers had like a ton of confidence in, or should have had a ton of confidence in like their other goalies.
No.
Right?
They,
And,
they
like,
were saying like they have to trade like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Connor McDavid for Linus Ullmark.
And in this situation, where maybe if Jarry's not necessarily as, like you said, fundamentally broken as Jack Campbell is, the goalie situation, the other goalies seem better.
Yeah,
so
like
it kind
they've
of
taken
like
the job.
balances
for sure.
out.
Like Nedeljkovic seems like Pickard to me, and Blomqvist seems like their Skinner. I've watched way more of Joel Blomqvist than I ever thought I would.
Except Blomqvist actually seems like good.
What are you saying
about Stuart Skinner?
That you weren't sure that he was when that move was made.
No, I mean, and at the time Skinner had been an all-star before, but he was when you start the season that shaky. We know how goalies are; they're like relief pitchers, where like you could be awesome one year, and then the next year you're just like, I don't know why, but we can't count on this guy this year. That fucking sucks. We were really counting on that, but oh well.
So I would say yes, that the picture does remind me of the Oilers, but I think that there's more reason to believe that Jarry could be back versus what we saw from Campbell.
Yeah, it did seem pretty final with Campbell, because they waived him to send him down, which was that seemed pretty final. Like, this hasn't worked out. We're going to buy you out at some point down the road, which they ended up doing after the season. But
I also don't trust Nedeljkovic.
No.
Like, I mean, I feel like I could trust Pickard a little bit more than Nedeljkovic.
And in the case of the Penguins right now, it's more fun to get on the Joel Blomqvist thing. Like, nothing was more fun than... I guess the Blomqvist-Skinner comparison kind of ends there. But it's fun to jump on the Blomqvist bandwagon, which I have, because this isn't a team that was supposed to win the Stanley Cup. Apologies, any Penguins fans who still thought that maybe it would be different this year. Like, this was...
I mean, if you thought that it would be like majorly different this year, like, you just deserve what you've had coming to you because you're an idiot.
For multiple years now.
Yes. Yeah.
So I saw a clip of our guy, Dan Powers, being like, I could do an I told you so thing, but like, I don't want to do that.
Right.
Like,
I feel bad.
We
for
all,
Penguins fans.
like, we all knew it was going to be like this. But I'll tell you what, I've watched a lot of Penguins games recently because they've been playing teams that I've cared about, whether it's the Sabres or the Oilers. This kid is good, or at least from what I've seen from him. I don't know if his numbers are incredible, but 2020 second round pick, he was amazing the other night against
Edmonton. His numbers
Edmonton.
are pretty good.
What's that?
His numbers are pretty good.
Give it to me.
His numbers, he's got in 5 games played a .911 save percentage and a GSAA of 2.5.
He when they played Edmonton the other night and the Oilers had like 300 shots on goal and like real good chances, like Hyman Should have scored a bunch of times, obviously. He's a really, really good player. He let in probably 3 or 4 goals, but when you're facing like 45 plus shots against that offense,
50
shots.
It was 50, 4 goals allowed on 50 shots. And yeah, the 2 losses, or the 2 games where he's given up 4 goals have been against Edmonton and Carolina.
I'll take this.
Like, very good teams.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I'll take this for a Penguins watcher, because when I'm watching the Penguins otherwise, it's just kind of a bummer because it's a lot of great faces, great names, great uniform. You see the 87 out there, and not that Sid's dropped off at all, but like,
Well, I mean, he's got 1 goal in 10
maybe,
games.
yeah, maybe this year. Yeah, I think that he and Marchand have like maybe they're just like
They're saving it for 4 Nations.
Oh,
That's
love it.
They just want to
theory.
beat USA.
I was gonna say like they're gaining sympathy weight for each other. Like one of them is in a bad way, and the other one is like, me too.
Plus
They're empaths.
the Avs had a slow start to the year, so McKinnon was, I don't know that he was struggling necessarily, but they were in it together.
I was texting with Petey about Crosby the other day, and I was like, it kind of stinks that all of his teams are, because he's getting traded at some point in our lives, I think. All of his teams are pretty mid.
Yeah, like
Canadians, mid. Bruins, mid.
Avs, mid.
Avs
have won
turning
5 in a
around,
row.
Turning around.
Avs have turned it around. The Predators have also turned it around.
The Predators have, yeah. But I mean, were you considering the Predators for Crosby?
No, but
Okay.
just like teams that were
No, that's
on
been-
got to turn it around watch.
To be fair, I mean, as we're going to talk
Sabres
about later,
turn around.
they're all in a position where they could potentially want to trade for a Sidney Crosby too.
Could I do a quick update to a sentence I said like 2 seconds ago? I'm now considering the Predators for Crosby. That would rock.
It would be ridiculous.
That would fucking rule, because would you do Stamkos and Crosby together?
Yeah, I think you'd have to.
Oh man,
That
Like,
would be the coolest thing in the world.
15-year-old me is juiced for that.
Yeah.
I would say at that point,
It would be like the Predators trying to recreate what the Oilers have, but just like 10 years older.
Yeah.
I mean, the Oilers are doing that with themselves right now. They're like,
That's true.
damn, Jeff Skinner and Adam Henrique. Ooh, they're going to be so nasty. Yeah, I'll close the Penguins thing by saying this has at least made the Penguins experience a little enjoyable. They're 3-6-1. They're not a good team. They're kind of tough to watch, but I like them having a young player that we didn't really consider. And we talked about Rutger McGroarty. Maybe that could be a fun thing that pops up. Obviously, they sent him to the AHL before the Jets game, so the most fun moment of the season
Coward behavior.
didn't even happen. I like they have a young goalie who piques our interest.
Okay.
I'll at least take that from him. And I will take, what's that?
I just want to do one more behavior grade from the weekend. Rasmus Anderson of the
Oh,
Calgary
yes.
Flames keeps scoring goals and keeps staring down people wearing the opposing jersey in the crowd, whether he's home or away. And it is maybe the best thing going.
I was
going to
say, I don't know if this is a hot take. It's my favorite goal celebration in the history of the sport.
I don't know if it's in the
I
history of the sport, but
love-
right
it's
now it's
awesome.
fresh. It's great. The reaction from the fans every time. Like there was one recently where he scored against the Winnipeg Jets in Calgary, and there was one Jets fan sitting on the glass front row, and he was like skating by, caught her in the corner of his eye, like threw on the brakes immediately, turned and stared her down, and she just burst out laughing.
I wonder.
That's incredible behavior.
I just wonder how far he's going to go to find fans. Like if it gets to a point where there's just like no one instant, like is he going to
Taking
take a lap
laps?
and just
That'd
be
be
like,
incredible.
oh, there you are. Yeah, I agree 100%.
And if
I think what we got to do, we got to take it to the next level. We got to have the Calgary Flames, whenever it happens at home, the Flames got to dim the lights. They got to put a spotlight and have like the spotlight search for a player
Lean into it.
wearing
Yeah.
an opposing jersey. And then Rasmus has to go over and fucking stare him down.
So what I was going to suggest is, do we empty our
Yeah.
game
Oh
time
my
accounts,
God.
go to Calgary intentionally wearing, obviously it's but like wearing the uniform of whoever they're playing, sit against the glass and be like, oh no, hope he doesn't
we
roast
would have
me.
to split up though. We would have to like 2 of us in each
Yeah.
corner on the side that they shoot on twice, and then 1 of us right behind the net on the other end. So no matter what happens, where one of
It's
us
a
is
great
nearby.
plan.
Terrific.
That is, you got some Zach Hampel to you right there.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
being like, okay, what's the areas where are most likely for Rasmus Anderson to score?
Yep.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
You got to wear the home jersey so you can get down there without anybody asking you questions. And then as soon as it happens, as soon as the goal scores, just rip off the jersey.
Look at all of the areas where he scores his goal and just look at the game time seating chart, like Daniel Plainview, like, why don't I own this? What about this one? Why don't I own this?
And on game time, you'll be able to pay them quail prices.
That's right. You just give them quail prices.
Pointing to something and saying, why don't I own this is such good behavior.
Yeah. I think we've only done that with like a jersey or so. Like I'm trying to we haven't memed that heavily enough.
No.
I think it was just like there was like a good Pride jersey and we posted with, why don't I own this? Okay, let me tell you about Prize Picks, the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Whoa. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get action sports in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, Texas. I won't keep going. Prize Picks is also the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, so your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in, say, the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. How amazing. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code WhatChaos and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WhatChaos to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
Today's podcast also brought to you by our friends at Bauer Hockey. That's right, baby. Bauer's back for a new season. Very happy to have them on board. We love them. We love their clothes, especially. I tweeted about this last week, and this was not part of the podcast deal. It was just me giving a free ad to a company that I love. Bauer, I legitimately think, makes the best workout clothes apparel that I have had in maybe forever.
Nothing worse than when you have a firmly held belief, but people might think you're shilling.
Right.
When you genuinely believe it.
I put this outside of the realm of the advertisement.
We hadn't been doing reads for a minute for them at that point.
I know. So their tech gear is incredible. I actually wore one of those shirts this morning when I went to the gym, not to brag. It's the best shirt ever. They've got new collabs too that are incredible. Bauer and Travis Matthew, Bauer and Lululemon, all of their stuff is so nice. But that's not part of the read. I'll tell you what, because nothing beats the sound of fresh steel cutting through the ice. Now you can hear that every time after getting a fresh buzz with the Pro Sharp Bauer Advantage skate sharpener. Perfect for all hockey players, families, or teams, the sharpener is fully automated and extremely easy to use, so you can get perfect edges anytime, anywhere, as long as you're plugged into power. And built with goalie skate modes, even your tendy can stay sharp. So to learn more about the Pro Shop Bauer Advantage skate sharpener, or to see what you can find it or where you can find it in stores, head to bauer.com/prosharp. Bauer.com/prosharp. And I'll throw another tag here. They have the best workout clothes. So if you buy Bauer's clothes, you're going to love them.
They really, really do. I've been thinking about upgrading. My skates famously are Bauer. I've been thinking about upgrading, getting new skates for the winter season. Ooh. I don't know if I do know that I don't skate often enough to say I need to get new skates, but the Bauer skates are so freaking nice.
And I mean, there's a potential that we're going somewhere in which you might be able to ice skate on a rink now.
The Winter Classic?
The Winter Classic.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I get those Hyper Lights.
And
Stadium
Series.
Maybe I get those Supreme Shadow.
Nothing beats the free skate on the outdoor rinks.
What do you know?
Amazing.
It's the best.
We'll
get you out there.
It would be cool to do that on an NHL rink, to do it on an NHL rink in a football/baseball stadium.
It's not as cool to do it on an NHL rink.
That's what
I'm sure it'd be cool.
That's
but
what I'm saying.
I'll tell you what,
would be cool.
favorite place I've done that? Gillette. Liked it more than
Fenway.
Really?
I have
Fenway. Famously, I've scored multiple goals at Fenway. Not a lot of people have done that. I fucking kicked ass in the media games, by which I mean I just went to the front of the net and scored 2 Zach Hyman goals. But
Fucking right.
They all count. Somebody in the chat said no Michael Rasmussen behavior. That was like, I think it was like Friday. It was like at the end of last week when we didn't have a show. But did you see that?
Give it to me.
He scored the empty net goal against the Devils. Rasmussen from the Red Wings scored the empty net goal against the Devils. Jack Hughes went back checked, tried to stop it. He checked him while scoring the empty net goal and then stood over him and did like the flexing thing.
Love that.
No problem.
Tremendous behavior. If you're gonna try, I mean, Hughes was clearly trying to just hit him because he was pissed more or less, and he turned the tables.
I have no problem with Jack Hughes, what he did there. I have no problem with Rasmussen with what he did there. The only thing that I would say is like Jack Hughes was a little embarrassed and became a little bit of a baby about it.
Oh
after
yeah,
that happened.
no,
but
he was definitely embarrassed.
You can't let somebody like flex over you either without being like. I feel like you come away looking like a bit of a.
Oh no, a
bit soft if you let a guy flex over you and you don't do anything.
Yeah, you gotta do something. There's no winning in that situation. You got bodied.
Famously, you gotta let him choke you out.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I have no problem with any of it. I thought it was incredible. It's one of the coolest things that you can do as a hockey player, I think, to like put a game away while simultaneously embarrassing the other team's best player.
It led to a big headache and a lot of calls to the police, but I was always kind of on board with Max Pacioretty scoring against the Bruins in overtime and skating by, like after he scored the goal, Chara was just like skating the other way because the game was over, and he celebrated by pushing Chara, scored the game-winning goal, then pushed the number 1 could kill somebody person in the league.
And like almost did.
And then like there was shit between those 2 teams for a million reasons the rest of the year, and there was the thing in Montreal which ended up getting a little ridiculous, quite frankly, we can say in hindsight. But yeah, that was the beginning of all of that. But it was cool. Scored a goal, celebrated. Get out of here. What's your name again? Oh shit, that was Chara.
Somebody said there's a whole rink behind you guys. I don't know if we want to reveal any secrets here, but we recently had a visitor to the studio last week who also thought that was a real rink. It is not.
I mean, yeah, but there is a rink behind us.
I would do literally anything to find out where that rink actually is. I think I've come to the conclusion that it's in Europe. Because if you look closely, it looks like you got a European crease and no trapezoid behind it.
Oh, I mean, I would say send it to one of those geolocator guys.
Yes, yeah. GeoGuessr could definitely find out.
As long as there's like a McDonald's in there, he'll be able to, he'll be able to tell.
It's got a pretty distinct roof, which I guess you can't see on the broadcast, but yeah, I just want to know where it is.
I bet if there were a snack bar, he would be able to do it. He would like zoom in and find who supplied the stuff.
It's like the single most generic picture. There's no discerning details.
It seems like the chat is. I don't know if they're joking, but it seems like a lot of people in the chat are like, "Are you fucking serious? That's not a real rink."
Yeah, I'm
guessing they're joking.
We've broken a lot of brains. Hey, did you know that 6 of the 8 teams in the Atlantic Division have the exact same points percentage record? Whatever, not exact same record, but they're all 500. 2023-24 Florida Panthers retroactively on Fraud Watch. They play in a tomato can division.
They play in a Mickey Mouse division.
They do. If Dan
Mouse
Shaughnessy
Cup.
were here right now, he'd be like, frauds.
That is an incredible spin. I love it. Any reason to say that the Panthers are frauds after they just won a Stanley Cup?
Yes, and now I'm not talking about this year's team. I'm talking about last year's team.
You're right. Like retroactively, you cancel. It's like taking away Reggie Bush's Heisman.
Yes. Can we take away their Stanley Cup, or at least say that they're kind of frauds? They blew a 3-0 series lead, and they only got there because they played in a Tiny Toons division, we'll call it. They played in a Muppet Babies division.
It's some people are saying. The bunch of teams that are 500. Is that exciting?
I can't tell. I was hoping you would have a thought on that. Sabres, Maple Leafs, Red Wings, Canadians, Bruins, and Senators are all 500. The Lightning.
Exciting to me.
What's that?
I said it's exciting to me.
I
2 weeks ago, the Sabres season was over.
I'm gonna say ultimately it's probably exciting because we've been looking at the Atlantic Division for like several years at this point and being like, something's got to give, something's got to change, and it never does. It's always just like the Bruins, the Leafs, the Lightning, and the Panthers just hanging out.
I'll say this. The haters were wrong to declare the Buffalo Sabres in trouble, having hit rock bottom or whatever. No, they did hit rock bottom, but then they moved up from rock bottom. They have 3 straight wins, points in 4 of 5. Tage Thompson is playing out of his freaking mind. 4 goals,
season.
3 assists in the last 3 games. And man, if it weren't for him having that bonkersville season 2 years ago where he had, how many goals did he have? Like, did he have 50 goals?
No,
47?
Like 40.
Yeah, you're right. He had like, I want to say 45 plus.
I think it was more like around 40, closer to 40. I could be wrong. 47. Wow. 47 goals.
Yeah, so he does have one insane season
Right.
to his name. But
He
tell you
had
what,
38 goals the year before.
he's having another one. Yeah, it really was just that he was established. He did arrive, and last year was just kind of weird for everybody.
I mean, he was hurt, and I have
Yes.
seen like different Sabres writers talk about the fact that like I don't think people really gave him enough credit to how much the injuries affected Tage last year.
the chat clarifies that the haters are Sabres fans are the ones that said this. Nobody was saying anything good or bad about the Sabres.
That's
Except for
very-
Sabres
very
fans who were
true.
like, well, frick my life.
It's very true.
Very
Trying to
true.
not swear.
Yeah, that is very true. I tweeted something like over the weekend about like Sabres are back, and somebody responded and was literally like, nobody cares about the Sabres except for
Yeah.
you.
I mean, someone DM'd me when I just tweeted a Tage highlight that made the rounds on Sabres Twitter, and someone was like, "This guy's trying to get people to watch the Sabres." I'm like, "No, I wouldn't
Listen,
wish that on my worst enemy."
If nobody cares about the Sabres, that's fine. I'm still gonna care about them, and I'm still gonna like.
I've been
I'm
caring
still gonna
about him.
ride with the Buffalo people, good or bad.
I've been caring about him for the last 20 years when no one's given a shit about them.
I am glad that Tage is back because
Oh, yeah.
the NHL is a better place with Tage. And somebody pushed back on me saying that. And I think that, like, you don't always need your good players to be exciting, but you do always need your exciting players to be good.
I thought you were going to say you need your good players to be tall, and I was going to be in on that.
I mean, to the NHL is better when he's good. Like, there's just not a lot of guys like him.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
it's-
he's an exciting player.
Yeah.
Not all good players are exciting, like, inherently.
Mhm.
But the exciting ones, when they suck, it's really sad. Or
Agreed.
when they're like just mediocre, it's sad. So I need Tage to be a pillar of this league. I need him to be incredible because he's such a weird outlier and he's so fun to watch. And I think like a favorite part of this Sabres resurgence for me is that it's not a bunch of individual guys like Tage doing it all by themselves. Like they're playing really well together as a team, which gives me hope that this like could actually be a good Sabres season.
Owen Power producing a bit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
by the way.
It's good.
Favorite non-exciting good player in the NHL?
Non-exciting good player. Would you consider
Like Zach Hyman?
I was going to say, would you consider Zach Hyman? Because Zach Hyman,
But he scores goals.
But not
then
exciting
not
goals.
exciting goals.
Oh, they excite me. Afterwards, I text people Hyman in all caps. I was gonna say
It's exciting because he keeps doing it, but they're not exciting in and of itself.
so. I was thinking more along the lines of like a Danton Heinen,
Yeah, but he's not. I'm saying like
all star.
I'm saying good players.
You're saying,
I'm
like,
not saying
all-star
that Dan
level.
Hine isn't a good player, but he's not a good player.
would you
What-
consider Nikita Kucherov exciting?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any like he's not trying, he's not like that's exciting
Yeah, fair enough.
because there's always going to be some sort of story there.
Like I would say,
Barkov,
Jack
I think,
Eichel is not
Yeah.
exciting.
yes,
Barkov, I feel like is a good one too.
Yeah. Well, Barkov has some. He has like pretty nasty hands. He can.
I mean,
he-
so
he-
does Jack Eichel. Like, Jack
yeah,
Eichel
but
do-
like Barkov has more exciting highlights, I think, than Jack Eichel does.
Sabres Jack Eichel was an electric factory. Like, because he was the
'Cause he was
only
doing
player
it all
on the team,
himself.
but there would be times where he would pick up the puck in the defensive zone and be like, okay, well, this is going to be a goal, and then he would just do it.
would you consider Nuge not exciting and
I don't think
good?
he's that level. I don't think he's the
Yeah.
level of player that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Mark Stone, I feel like is kind of a good one.
Mark Stone's a good one.
But I feel like that's just
Mark
the
Stone, I think,
Vegas
leads
Golden.
the NHL in points right
It's
now.
just the Vegas Golden Knights. Nothing about them is exciting. They're kind of like the Stars. They're just grown ups.
I think like if you're like a real, you sit down and pay attention to the game, you love a lot of the Knights players, but you're not blown away if you're just kind
It's
of
not like
on the
must see,
peripherals. Yeah.
Can I give you another mid-Atlantic team? How about the Toronto Maple Leafs, who lost their third straight game over the weekend when they had a real mid-off with the Bruins? No, I won't say mid-off. I'll say that they had a Bruins-Leafs off with the Bruins because the Bruins lead 3-2 late in the game. Austin Matthews ties it with like a minute and a half to go with an empty net.
After the Bruins have a chance to put the game away on Brad Marchand's stick.
Right.
Can't handle it. It gets taken away.
Pavel
They go down.
Zakhoff sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're right. Bruins could have sealed it. Marchand can't really hold on to the puck. They end up offsides. Austin Matthews scores a pretty goal to tie the game. And then in overtime, Austin Matthews says, hot pizza coming right at you, gives the game away. And Brad Marchand, who had no goals, famously, we had discussed with Petey to that point in the season, was getting battered by his head coach, scored to win the game. And there's your Leaf experience.
Big time Uno reverse card. Like Brad Marchand fucks up, gives Austin Matthews a goal. Then in overtime, Austin Matthews fucks up, gives Brad Marchand a goal.
Can we get the Steve Dangle reaction to this game, please, Sean?
Leafs lose 4-3 in overtime at the hands of the Boston Bruins. Just like in the playoffs, they managed to tie it 3-3, and whoever gets the fourth one wins it all, and they blow it in overtime. Let's all watch the sad clown honk his nose. Me, Mom. Before we continue this video, a word from HelloFresh. From the meal planning to the grocery store.
Oh my God.
Cutting to an ad read is the best.
Shout out HelloFresh.
Shout out
Steve is the
HelloFresh.
best. Oh my God. Apologies for anybody listening on audio who did not see that coming.
Jump scare.
Yeah.
No, we said it was a Steve Dangle thing.
That's also fair. After the Bruins beat the Leafs in overtime. Good point. You probably got to know what's coming.
I'd like to push back on the verbiage. The Leafs blow it.
No, the
They
Leafs
never blow it.
and they didn't deserve to win that game. If we're being honest,
No, I
Did
don't
you
think
check-
so.
did
Either
you
team
check?
deserved to win that game.
Did you
but-
check if they deserved to win the game?
No,
Yeah, I was
didn't.
going to say there is a record of this.
I did not check, but yeah, like that was the Bruins. I feel like the Bruins are lightly putting it back together, putting the pieces back together. Can't go 60 minutes without doing something bozo-ish or a few things bozo-ish, but they at least had some like tangible positives that you can take moving forward.
Can confirm the Leafs did not deserve to win it. They were put at about a 32% chance to win that game.
Great.
Wow.
Or deserved to win. Excuse me.
Get fucked. I
They
like
ju-
that you're not swearing and I'm just picking up what you're leaving on the table.
While it's you're doing, I was going to say, what's like the opposite of sympathy weight, where like one can't have any of the stuff. And
I'm just
like,
doing it right in your face.
It's okay. I'll eat a lot of pickles.
Listen, we got all these pickles. So if you're not eating them, somebody's got to eat them.
That's very, very thoughtful of you. I appreciate it. And I have also probably, I swear all the time. Okay. It's all good. Jim Montgomery saved?
I wouldn't say so. Not yet.
I would say, if anything, Jim Montgomery now confirmed can hit.
Oh, true. Damn it.
At that price point.
Oh,
Yes.
I thought I didn't do the same Peyton Krebs graphic that I wanted to do. I forgot about it.
Do it again. You do it on social media. No one listens to
guess
this
I
show.
could do it. I mean, I guess I could do it now, but like,
Yeah.
it's not as timely. I was gonna do goals before being punched 0, goals after being punched 1.
So how about this? What Chaos Memes, if you're listening, just steal Pete's graphic and do that. Put Marchand on there and then make another slide. He can hit, and it's Jim Montgomery. Easy peasy. You could do it if you want, but if What Chaos Memes wants to get cooking on it now, whatever gets it out there. Everybody follow What Chaos Memes on Instagram
And Twitter now.
and Twitter. I don't understand all of them, I'll be honest. There was one about me recently, and I'm just like, I was like, people like it. Okay, that's good. But they're all funny. I like the looks of them. I like the Humpty Dumpty injury report that they've been doing. Really good. Yeah, all three of us, right? We all like What Chaos memes.
Yeah,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Big time.
They've been cooking up a higher percentage of bangers recently.
The video of me the other day was
Yeah,
hilarious.
Very, very.
What was that one?
I'm forgetting what it was, honestly. The content of it. I just remember that it was like something I like, something I don't
Oh, it
like.
was the country music thing.
Oh, yes.
It was the country
Oh,
music
you're
one.
right.
Very
It was
funny.
so good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna I'll do the cool graphic of hitting after this. Don't worry about it. But yeah,
can't
like
hit.
the general theme of this NHL season is that if you get punched by somebody on your team, things are looking up for you after that.
What would we consider Jim Montgomery's price point? I mean, just walkier. If he's not even, you're not even paying for more than 1 year with Jim Montgomery.
Yeah.
So he can absolutely hit.
Yeah, if you were tied to him for 5 more years, he can't hit at that price point. But there's an out here. You can hit here.
Okay. All right. So I like this. And on Brad Marchand, I was shocked to see this. Brad Marchand, I love as a player, as a human.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he'll consider me a friend. I'll consider him a friend.
I mean,
Love the guy.
He did us a big favor.
Famously does favors.
You do favors for your friends, so I think you're a friend.
I love Brad Marchand. He's a friend. I saw a tweet that said Elliot Friedman says on the game broadcast that the Bruins and Brad Marchand are getting closing in, something like that, on a 3-year extension. And I spit out my drink, wasn't drinking anything.
You texted me, is this a real account?
I said, is this a real account? Because I just didn't know. And you said, yeah, it was an aggregator. And you said, yeah, that's not a jokey account. That's just puts out serious stuff. And we don't know what this contract would look like. Famously, Brad Marchand said on this show that he intends to retire when he is done playing hockey.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of his career, he's going to retire.
Big news.
He's at the end of his contract. He's in a walk year. I figured he would keep going. What does a 3-year deal look like on a 36-year-old Brad Marchand? Because while he has obviously gotten off to a horrific start goal-scoring wise, he has 6 points in 9 games. Last season was actually better than he was in Patrice Bergeron's final season. So even though he's getting long in the tooth, coming off of 3 surgeries and not off to the best start this year, getting hit by his coach, he has kind of shown that he's not, he hadn't been slowing down at the rate that you would think a small old man like myself or the same age would.
Yeah, I think the question here is like, how effective is Brad Marchand going to be if he has to like revert back to being more of a just like middle 6 forward kind of pest? Because like he came up as the grinder who like would scrap and find any way to be effective and stay in the lineup, and then developed his game to become an elite scoring winger, an elite offensive winger, 2-way winger, whatever you want to call him. But at some point, like he's going to lose that ability to a certain degree. And for other guys like say like a Corey Perry, who has constantly found a way to be effective, like in a longer term, like can Brad Marchand do that?
We have breaking news from people monitoring Twitter saying that I don't know if I said these people could be lying to us. I don't think they were, but the people in the chat are saying that Brad Marchand has today refuted that the sides are close.
I don't see
he
anything.
refuted that like immediately after the game.
Oh, he
over
said it after the
weekend.
game?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why
Marchand.
Elliot deleted his like report and his tweet.
Marchand did say something. Chicklets tweeted it out. Basically, he said if there was a 3-year contract, it would be signed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you're going to sign, I don't know how Elliot would get got that hard. But if that's the case, tough. I don't know what a 3-year contract would look like for Marchand. I said like the number that I would be comfortable with would be like, sure, let's do it. Would be around $2 million.
I thought the same exact number. If you're really doing 3 with him, though, I think out of respect, it's got to be 4.
Like 3 by 4.
Yeah. $4 million a year, which
It's not
No
like-
matter
I think
what
that
happens
would be
with him
okay.
and how much worse he gets over the years, he's not going to age to the point where you're like, this guy can't be in the lineup. Maybe he becomes what he was earlier in his career. But I'll say, like, early in his career when he was like the grinder type, he was supposed to be an upper end two-way player. It was just a matter of whether or not his body was going to hold up. And we learned that was probably, those were in the final years of people being stupid about short players. Like he's like let's say he's like 5'8", 5'9" or something.
Yeah.
People were like, shouldn't draft him. He's too, even though he was like a freaking star in the queue.
And like he's not like a tiny little boy either. He's got like some heft to him as a 5'9" guy. I mean, obviously this is in hindsight, knowing what he can do and knowing how effective smaller players can be. But yeah, like I think that's the big question is, can he still be effective when he loses a little bit of that scoring touch, and will his body hold up being that kind of player? I would have some confidence in it. I don't know if you need to sign him to a 3-year deal. Like he seems like the kind of guy who would be happy to continue just doing the 1-year thing until
Do what Chara
it
and
runs
Bergeron
out.
did. Yeah. What last team I would like to shout out in the Atlantic Division is the Ottawa Senators, who were almost above 500 when they came back, tied it up with the Avalanche last night. When everybody was watching the Cowboys come back last night, I was second screening it. I was like, I think I'm more into this Ottawa Senators.
It was a very
comeback.
good game. It was crazy.
And they ended up losing by a bajillion goals anyway. But
No, it wasn't a bajillion goals.
it ended up
I
being
think
like
two.
4-5-2, 4-2.
I think it was maybe 5-3, but they scored an empty netter. And
5-4.
then
5-4?
yeah, because Ottawa scored after Colorado scored the empty netter.
They came back again. All right. So
Yeah.
then I was just watching. I must have just gone to the Cowboys to watch that game that I knew that they were going to lose.
Claude Giroux had 2 beautiful goals in that third period.
Watch out for the Ottawa Senators. They're 500 because they play in the Atlantic, and it is a Rugrats ass division.
It is. I wouldn't
Cat
say
dog ass
I would
division.
not say look out for the Ottawa Senators.
Rocket power ass.
God, that cartoon.
I think if
rocked.
you're
Doug
identifying
funny ass.
if you're identifying 2 teams in the Atlantic Division that like have looked a little shaky, a little disappointing, I'd say the Red Wings and the Senators.
I wouldn't say disappointing. I'd say shaky is fine, but
Yeah, I guess.
kind of
Red Wings probably disappointing.
They're part of the trifecta that Petey talked about, where it's like those two and the Sabres every year. It's like, are they going to do it? And they just kind of end up being mid every year.
do need to shout out as we change divisions. Let's go to the Pacific. The San Jose Sharks have set a record. They are the first team to lose the first 9 games of back-to-back seasons. Awesome. Is that cool or funny?
No.
I don't think it's cool or funny.
No.
But it's also, this is the worst thing it can be. It's just kind of nothing.
Yeah, it's nobody's like, damn, they suck. Everybody's like, yep, they suck.
But they've got a first time ever head coach. Is there any like, well, maybe this isn't working. Maybe they need a different guy, anything? Or do you say, just let a guy who literally cannot win a game keep going? What does it matter to us?
I mean, I think that if you're employing a first-time head coach with this young of a team, your runway has to be at least 1 season. This has to be a learning season.
I mean, I don't think, and that's, wins are not the metric for
Yeah.
this team.
Yeah, it's kind of, so they're a little New England Patriots.
Like if there's nothing to be positive about based off of what you're seeing after the first season, maybe you move on. But, or like if it gets so bad, like it would have to get so bad for you to fire him in the middle of his first season with an expected league worst team.
You boys ready for some trivia about Ryan Warsofsky?
Let's do it.
Ryan Warsofsky is winless in his first 9 games as a head coach. The coach with the worst start to his NHL head coaching career ever is currently an NHL head coach. Who is it? Sean's gonna fucking get it.
Is it
isn't
Andre
he?
Torini?
Sheesh.
Is it?
It is.
Yeah, because I know. What was it? 2-3 years ago, they started off like 0-11. I don't think that
10
was,
and 1.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yep. Started off
Look at
0 and
Sean.
11 with the Coyotes in 21-22, and now
And he's awesome.
is the coolest coach in
I
the
love.
world.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan
It's
of Bear.
just, it seems like maybe if you have some good players, you can be considered a good coach.
And if you have like a plan,
Right.
like as long like that was a thing. I don't know the situation of the Sharks and Mike Greer all that much, but like Bill Armstrong clearly had a plan, and as long as they were meeting the steps of the plan, it didn't really matter if they were losing games.
Mm-hmm.
Let's tell people about this jersey stream that we have. We, at long last, we had talked about how Fanatics is now making the jerseys. They're doing the Authentic Pro. That's the one that's on the ice. And yes, that's the one that's on the ice that costs a
The one
bajillion
that
dollars.
the pros authentically wear.
What's that?
I said the one that the pros authentically wear.
Yes. Has caused a lot of confusion because Adidas famously called their replicas authentic. Confused a lot of people. The Fanatics premiums are what, like that one behind me, that Adidas authentic is. We want to get our hands on some and see if they're good, what they're like. They're using the same specs as Adidas was using. They're using a lot of the same guys that people that Adidas was using.
Very
And
problematic of you.
very problematic of me. The hosts are very misogynistic, which is rare for a hockey podcast. Somebody said when you were talking about the Penguin earlier. But basically, we're each getting a jersey. We're not telling the rest of the show what we're getting. We want you to guess what we got, and we want to give you a jersey so we can all get our hands on one of these jerseys. And Fanatics is nice enough to provide us with those jerseys. So thank you to them for giving you a jersey. The stream is on Wednesday at 6 p.m. We are being sent the jerseys in individually marked boxes that say DJ, Pete, Sean. We will open them on stream. There is a form online that we have tweeted and posted and everything that you can use to enter this contest. And you just tell us who you are and you guess which jerseys we got. And if you correctly guess one of our jerseys, two of our jerseys, three of our jerseys, you get your name on a wheel that we will spin to select a winner. And it's very exciting. I can't wait to see which jersey I got because we famously told our guy Seth our two choices, and if we picked the same one, Seth randomly picks which one of us get the first choice. So we don't even know what our jerseys are going to be. It's very exciting.
It is very exciting. I'm excited to see. You could also, I don't know if you mentioned this, like the share on Twitter, share on Instagram. You get entries by doing that as well. There's a form that you can fill out, the Google Doc form.
Yeah, I saw the Love of Your Life say something earlier about how you have to post on your Instagram story. Not necessarily true.
Not necessarily true.
Wherever
it helps
you
you.
find it social wise, share it there. But really,
Fill out the form too.
What's that? Yeah,
So fill out the form.
really what we're going to enforce is if you want a shot to get on the wheel, retweeting it gives you a shot to get on the wheel.
But if you
and
listen to the
filling out the
show-
form gives you a shot to get on the wheel.
If you listen to the show and you have a sense of like who we are and who we like, and you have a decent guess, I would recommend filling out the form and putting in a guess, because a correct guess will give you additional entries under the form and give you a step above just someone who like retweets or shares.
And I'll tell you what, I looked at the form and some of the responses. There's been a bunch of submissions, a bunch of guesses. I won't say anything about mine, but there's so many different names and so many different like thought processes that I'm like, there's going to be correct guesses here. And there's probably going to be like multiple correct guesses per person, except for me, because you're never going to fucking get it. I'm just kidding. But looking at some of the, there was like a graphic thing that Google does, or like a chart
a graph,
visualization thing. And the first thing I saw was there was multiple guesses for 69 Suck Me Off.
Which is honestly a
Thank
great
you.
sign.
What's that?
It's a great sign, in my opinion.
Yes, but like, thank you for wasting your guess.
Yeah, that
because
too.
they're going to be active players.
Yeah.
They're going to be.
And there are a few rules, like we're not doing Utah Hockey Club. We're not doing the Anaheim Ducks. DJ cannot get an Oilers jersey. I cannot get a Bruins jersey. Sean cannot get a Sabres jersey. So there are like a few rules. Those are spelled out on the form. Can I ask this? If somebody guesses a right player that one of us gets, but not the right person,
No.
it doesn't count?
It's specified on the form, player and person.
Okay.
Although, I don't want to. There's going to be some of those, I feel.
If you're looking for the rules, they are on the form.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you click on the form, it has an explanation of which ones we cannot get.
Sukhmiov isn't in the National anymore. No, the Kings sent him down.
He's in Ontario.
Jordan Spence took his place on the roster. So Quentin was mad because that was Quentin's boy. So he was like, I'm going to hit Spence where it hurts. Halloween costumes, cutting him out of it.
I do want to say, we didn't get to this earlier. The list of like best lines by minimum ice time at 5-on-5 so far, according to Money Puck, it's very what chaos coded.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's extremely what chaos coded because, well, number one, the best line in the league is Cole Koepke, Johnny Beecher, and Mark Haslick, which is the Bruins' fourth line, which is fucking hilarious. Or is it third line? Third line, fourth line. Paterka, Thompson, Tuck is the second one. Incredible. Then we've got Marchenko, Monahan, Chinnikov.
Again, Binnu. That line rocks.
And then you got Slavkovsky, Suzuki, Caulfield, which is the love of your life coded. Then there's Connor McMichael, Pierre-Luc Dubois, and Tom Wilson in there.
Tom Wilson, certified goal scorer.
Yeah, and then there's a couple of Minnesota Wild lines, like just an incredible collection of best lines in the league at 5-on-5 so far.
Amazing stuff. When you asked me to guess who led the Bruins in points, I tried to go with a real wild card. I went with somebody who really doesn't have a lot of points, quite frankly.
Trent Frederick.
I guess Trent Frederick. Trent Frederick on tomorrow's show. How about that?
Hell yeah.
People have wanted this. I'm wearing this shirt, by the way, not for any Bruin-specific stuff, but for the late, great Phil Lesh, who died over the weekend. A lot of outpouring of support from various Grateful Dead fans and everything. I just kind of stayed out of it because I was like, they're going to do a better job than me. John Mayer's going to do a better tribute to that guy than I'm going to do. But pour one out for Phil Lesh. Spin some dead. Shall we get to a Slate Grade?
Mm-hmm.
How about 7 p.m. U.S., the Oilers at the Blue Jackets? 7 p.m. Oilers? Off to a good start. 7 p.m. U.S., the Panthers visit the Sabres. That's a good game.
Huge.
7:30 p.m. U.S., Predators at Lightning. Steven Stamkos Bowl.
Pretty good.
Are we on A-Watch?
Good start.
7:30 p.m., Maple Leafs at the Jets. Could the Maple Leafs hand the Jets their first loss? I don't think they will, but we can watch and find out. 9 p.m., Blackhawks at Avalanche. 9 p.m., Sharks at Utah Hockey Club. 10 p.m., Hurricanes at Canucks. 10 p.m., Flames at Golden Knights.
By the way, happy birthday, Jack Eichel.
Happy birthday, Jack Eichel.
That was big of you.
Yeah. Personal growth. I
Also,
just
happy
honestly
birthday,
just
Sean.
saw an opportunity to make money. That's the only reason I brought it up.
Make money.
I mean, Leon Draisaitl's birthday, he put up a couple goals. Jack Eichel against the Flame. I mean, in Vegas on his birthday.
That could be a reason why he doesn't score a goal, though.
True. Well, no, the celebration will be after the game. You don't celebrate the day before your birthday. Like why? On a Sunday before a game, why would you not celebrate Monday night after hopefully a win for them? Hopefully a win over
Somebody in the chat says, "Sorry that the Bruins lost on your mom's birthday, DJ." Famously, my dad got my mom tickets to that game, so they went to that Stars Bruins game, the worst game in the world, and saw that shit. My dad didn't know that I had gotten my mom and him tickets for Saturday's game. So they just had like season tickets to the Bruins for a little bit. So all's well that ends well. They saw a terrible game against the Stars and then a crazy, ridiculous game against the Leafs. So
now we know who your mom loves more.
Like me or my dad?
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know. Probably. I feel like you're honestly supposed to love your kids more than you're supposed to love your partner.
I would agree.
It's like a different type of love.
I mean, there's like a literal biological.
I don't know my
connection.
kids, but I think that
There's a literal biological connection. Plus, like the mother-son relationship is.
I mean,
classically the
you have to
strongest.
consider that
That is true.
your love for your kids wouldn't exist if it weren't for your love with your partner.
yeah, but like you're not really related to your partner.
Yeah, you can kind of make kids with anybody, but at the end of the day, those kids are always going to be your kids.
Does that
It's very philosophical.
does husband and wife, which my parents are, they're old fashioned.
Wow.
Is husband and wife considered immediate family?
Yeah,
Yes.
But like,
yeah. Like I
you're
mean,
not related.
But if you die, your stuff
You
goes to your.
are you're related.
Legally, you're related.
You're legally related. You're
Like-
not really related.
I would hope
You're
not.
not biological. Yeah, I mean,
I'll tell you what, man. My parents got nothing to fucking do with each other. They've been happily married for a million years, but they're not related.
Again, as Pete said, hopefully not.
Yeah.
Okay, so a little something about me. My parents are not related to each other.
DJ getting personal on the pod.
DJ spills. DJ shares all. My parents are not related to each other.
Put that on a graph. That's
The
a
DJ
what chaos
tell-all.
meme right there.
Yeah,
My
I did
parents,
want to.
they're married and they're
Not
not
related.
related.
I did want to make a like quote graphic template thing to send to what chaos memes to just be like, yo, pump these out. Anytime there's a good line, just send them out. It's a good slate. It's a good slate. I wish that I were more excited about like Hurricanes Canucks.
Can I ask how you feel about the 7:30s and no 8 as far as structure goes?
I'm totally fine with that because like when you have a 7 o'clock games, the 7:30s kick in when those hit intermission,
Mhm.
and like 8s are kind of useless because
They're in like
they
no man's land.
exactly,
Yeah.
and they kind of interfere with the 7 o'clock starts.
I agree. I love the structure of the
I
slate.
love the structure. I could use Calgary, Vegas being at 10:30 versus Carolina and Vancouver and that other game, both sharing 10 o'clock starts.
That's fair.
Like one super late would be nice.
You
But I think
start
this is good
with-
structure.
The 7 o'clocks are bangers.
That's
Like, you start
this
so strong.
starts so hot.
And I mean, I think it's a pretty. It ends very well too.
I'm going to be watching Flames and Golden Knights.
Yep. I'm gonna watch Carolina, Vancouver too.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
if you told me that was the
all
Stanley
right.
Cup, I would.
Yeah,
like,
Well,
I'm
why am I
surprised.
not getting juice off that game though?
I think it's a you thing.
Really?
I'm juiced for that game.
People are getting hyped for that.
Carolina has delivered a couple absolute heaters in the beginning of the season.
Carolina's
Carolina-
played some great games.
I think the Carolina Oilers game was
Edmonton.
the best game of the season so far.
Carolina as a team is the good but not exciting. I feel like we're just like people don't really.
Oh, I disagree.
I don't think it's necessarily fair, but I feel like they're in a territory where people are just like, it's the Hurricanes.
I agree with
Yeah,
that.
I think there's some Canes exhaustion.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're still very fun to watch.
Yeah. But that's why I think it doesn't really get the people
But
going.
what's the stinker here? Like, what is the big stinker?
I mean, nothing. Like I want to watch the Sharks every time they play now.
Yeah, like the 9s aren't necessarily good games, but there's fun to be interested in.
There's car crash appeal to San Jose, Utah.
There's car crash appeal to San Jose, Utah. There is
Bedard versus the hottest.
Everything.
Bedard
here.
versus the hottest team in hockey.
Yep, it's true. Winnipeg chance to stay alive. Like this is a good slate.
I like every
This is
single
a very
game.
good slate.
Like the only game that on paper is not good is Sharks Utah, and like you said, it's got car crash appeal.
Mm-hmm.
We have Trent Frederick on the show tomorrow. Make sure everybody is subscribed to what they need to be subscribed to. Slate Grade A.
Yeah. All right, we got a walk-off Slate Grade. It's an A. We will see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.